Okay, hey guys, this is Nathan Stone, one of the fellow parishioners of Film Illiterates. This is a special Oscars 2016 podcast. I'm recording from San Diego, and I'm here with Joe Campbell and Alex Patton, the original founders and hosts of Film Illiterates. Say hi, guys.
Howdy. How's everyone doing?
So yeah, it's good to hear you guys. It's been a while since we last talked. How are you all doing?
Not too bad. Also in San Diego too, so I mean, I'm enjoying the nice weather. But other than that, it's been pretty good. How's Washington, Joe?
Washington's going great. Been rainy, sunny, a mixed bag, that kind of stuff. I know that we haven't released a video in a while, in a few weeks. I know, but we'll be working on getting those back going shortly. Hopefully this podcast will start a trend of more videos coming out more frequently.
Yeah, if anything, it's just a bit of a momentum, It's I've kind of was also noticing you've been slacking off a little bit too, Joe, so thought it could help out. And I felt like, Oscars was something that we should talk about since it's still hot stuff right now. So, yeah. Exactly. But before we get into that, let's just do a recap of this past week. Joe, why don't you go ahead and let us know what did you end up, were there any movies that you saw this past week? Any TV shows you're trying to catch up on?
Just a couple things, I guess, worth highlighting, especially considering that it's the Oscars. I watched Room.
Oh, nice.
This past week, which was near. I actually watched it twice in one day.
I know.
Because I watched it in the morning, earlier in the day, and then I had to show Katie later on that evening. I absolutely love that movie. It's one of the most emotionally gut-wrenching film. I thought it was great. It's my personal pick for best movie of last year.
Yeah, I will have to comment on that. I actually saw it a while ago when I recently watched it again, just because it's that good. But I'm kind of blown away with it's an enclosed space movie, obviously, but then halfway through, they do get out. Spoiler alert, but it's not really a spoiler. We all kind of know they get out. But I will say going into it, I know about like that, but I didn't really know anything else outside the movie. And for this kind of film, it's best to go in as blind as possible, because you really have no idea where it's going to go. Oh yeah. But just the actors alone, and just the kid actor as well, Jacob Tremblay. I was very much impressed with their performances. And
he's a great little kid, yeah.
He's amazing. And this is like the first film he's ever done. He has never acted before in his life. And it's something genuine to see like that on the screen. So that's something I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah. A few other things before. I mean, nothing big. Jacob, like maybe some like television work and that kind of.
Can you
but this is the first thing. Yeah, he was like a couple like little things, but
can you repeat that again?
Nothing high profile like this.
Hey Joe, can you repeat that again? You were kind of cutting out a bit.
Yeah, I was saying Jacob Tremblay. He's been in a few things. His first movie was Smurfs 2, high profile thing he's done. It's really gotten him on the map.
Was he like an extra or something like that in the background, or?
I didn't watch Smurfs 2.
Who did? Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then a couple other things that I watched, Oscars related. I watched Trumbo, which I greatly enjoyed. I felt like it was I enjoyed it to an extent. I felt like it was a less crazy version of Hitchcock, which is a film I enjoyed a lot more. And then Bridge of Spies, which was a very solid movie. I quite enjoyed Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, to be honest, I thoroughly enjoyed Bridge of Spies. I saw this way back when it first came out, but it's just the look at that time period. It really dealt with a lot of the feelings and tensions everyone was having with the Cold War. And I thought Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance did fantastic as a duo together. But it was really good.
Absolutely.
But that's cool. Was there anything else you watched?
I mean, I'm constantly watching movies, but those are some of the main highlights I think worth mentioning, other than getting caught up on House of Cards.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I guess I'll go next. For me, I was trying to catch up on Agent Carter, watched the current season finale, which, you know, I haven't been following the show as religiously as some people, but I'm kind of impressed and kind of sad that this is going to be its last season. It was a pretty good story. Good characters. But I was watching it with a couple of friends at my place, and yeah, it's one of those, I think it's gonna be one of those little rare gems from Marvel that kind of came and went, you know, just a nice little filler.
Is it real quick? Is it one of those like shows? I mean, you're saying that it's going to be the last now on
Yeah.
going to be its last season. Is it one of the shows where it's kind of like originally designed to be just a really short run, or is it just people lost interest, so the show's getting canceled, and now it's their last season?
Yeah, it's because the show didn't have as high ratings as some of the other stuff that Marvel's pumped out, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Gotcha.
and it just can't compete with that. So because of that, they're gonna have to. They're ending it very shortly, but it has the potential to keep going. It's just I think I forget what network it is. I think it's ABC is not renewing it again, so it's sad.
Okay.
But to be honest, I'd rather a show to end on a good note than to kind of drag out for so many seasons and then just become like you're just beating a dead horse. So
yeah,
if anything, it's been a good filler. Other than that, I went and saw Eddie the Eagle this past weekend with my parents. It's
Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, it's like an underdog film about Eddie Edwards, one of the ski jumpers from the Winter Olympics of 1988, and it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, guy who did X-Men First Class. So it was kind of like a nice little underdog story. Nothing too impressive. Hugh Jackman was in it. He played like the drunk coach of this kid, and you know, as nice as the story was, I wasn't too impressed with it, except for when Hugh Jackman was talking about what it's like to, you know, when he's training him about how to do a perfect landing and comparing it to sex. So that was probably the best part of the whole scene, just because it's coming from Hugh Jackman, which I'm like, okay. Other than that, not too much. So Alex, what have you been doing?
I haven't watched many movies recently. I really want to watch World of Tomorrow. I've been missing out on watching that. I was a big fan of It's Such a Beautiful Day, the first film by Don Hertzfeldt. So I'm really excited to watch World of Tomorrow on Vimeo, because I think you can rent it from there. So definitely looking forward to watching that. But as far as what I've seen recently, I haven't really actually seen anything. I've mostly been like listening to a lot of music and playing video games, so that's basically what I've been up to for most of the time. So yeah, just haven't caught any of the new movies.
But you've been collecting some vinyls, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I got into collecting records almost a year ago, so I've been picking up a bunch of different stuff here and there. Just went to the record store today, picked up Plans by Death Cab for Cutie, and then a Class of '78 by Buddy Rich.
Sweet.
My favorite drummers. But yeah, so I've been just doing that a lot, and kind of gotten a decent sized collection.
Nice.
Collecting
I really do want to try and get on the bandwagon with collecting vinyls. It's just getting a good record player is just almost it's almost as expensive as just rental right now. So
yeah, it is expensive, definitely. I mean, the best way to go about it is going vintage and looking for Craigslist and thrift shops, but it's kind of hit or miss, honestly.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Definitely hit or miss. Well, cool. Well, sounds like we've had an interesting week. So let's talk about what we came here to talk about, the Oscars.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was watching the show last night with my brother. Him and I, this is kind of like, you know, it's a ritual for us to watch it every year. What about you guys? What'd you think of the show?
I only caught part of the show, honestly. I was in and out of the room when it was going on. I mostly, honestly, just kept up with it on my phone with the winners. About halfway through, I actually had to get in the car and go somewhere. So I was just trying to keep up online. But from the little bit that I saw of it, it was a fine show. It was toned down from previous years, from what I saw. I felt like the Oscars so white jokes got kind of old, but that was just me. I didn't see enough of the show to really rate it very well.
Yeah, I caught him most of it. I was at work during that time, but I was able to put it on the TV at work and just thankfully my coworker was able to take most of the shift that day, and so I was watching the Oscars for a lot of it. Caught most of the major awards. I didn't catch a lot of the just like the in between parts, like just all of Chris Rock's jokes and stuff like that. I only caught the first intro monologue, and then only paid attention to the actual announcements of the awards after that. But it wasn't that like big of a show.
No, and
you had the couple musical pieces, but like that was it.
Yeah, and actually, not all the songs that were nominated for Oscars were performed. It was just only 3. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very stiff show for me as far as just like writing and presenters. I'm just recalling back to the day when someone like Hugh Jackman, he hosted the 2009 Oscar ceremony. And that was just really entertaining. He brought the whole Broadway aspect to it, but even just the show was very lighthearted. It felt good, especially even though that was during the writer's strike. It still was a good show. And for the past few years, it's felt like it's been kind of just progressively getting, worse. Like it's just kind of like the writing's not there. The entertainment's not there. I mean, it's a televised show, but
I wouldn't necessarily say it's getting worse. It's just getting more toned down. Like, I feel like, in prior years, the Oscars weren't as much about the awards as it was like the whole show of it. I mean, for me, I care about who's going to win. I'm not really that interested in who's hosting and what they're going to do. So, I mean, I watch the Oscars to see who wins, not to see the show. So, the transition from it getting like a big grand event to something a little bit just more toned down and a bit quieter, that's fine with me, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's a mixed bag because I wasn't really interested in the show this year either way because I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch the whole thing. I was just more interested in seeing who was going to win, if my predictions worked out, that kind of stuff. But I always enjoy a big show. I enjoyed the idea of what Seth MacFarlane tried to do that one year, even though I felt like, as a whole, that fell pretty flat. But in the end, I do care more about the actual awards than I do about the show. Unlike the Golden Globes, where I'm just curious to see what Ricky Gervais is going to say.
Yeah, that is true.
I guess to clarify, what I mean is I don't hate that it was a big show and all that. That's fine. That's cool. I like that. It doesn't really go either way for me. Having it be like a little bit quieter is fine with me as well. Focus on the awards more.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing I was kind of noticing, actually, I thought was hilarious, is this year, if you guys noticed, or if you were able to catch when someone won, they would have like a little like a telecard at the bottom, and it says like, this person would like to thank blah 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 blah, and it felt like a news broadcast reel or something like that. Like it's just letting stuff go by with these captions of like, yeah, these are all the people that they will not be able to mention in the 1 minute that they have to make their acceptance speech.
I also love that they use Fight the Valkyries as their sending someone away music.
Yes, I was just thinking Apocalypse Now every time that came up. I'm like, yes, they're going to kill them.
Bomb the hole.
I think the idea with the little scrolling text at the bottom thanking everyone, I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely speeds it up. Like, they don't have to take so much time with, thanking everybody and feeling like they have to verbally say it. They get in somehow.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and back in the day, people didn't thank 200 people and their hairdresser and everything like that. They just said, "All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it what everyone's done for me, and let's move on to the next one." And nowadays, I feel like it's a lot more narcissistic, where they feel like, "All right, I have to thank this person, this person, this person. Oh, thank you."
I know.
Yeah. Take up as much time as I can.
I know. If we did that way, it's like the show would just keep going on and on all evening. So. But yeah, so question, were there any big surprises for the winners last night? I mean, I know you guys, Joe, you had a pool going on with Nick and Alex, right? For some of your predictions?
Did, and I'm looking through my list to see about any surprises. For me, I think the biggest surprise was the visual effects category. That was a happy surprise on my part. I thought Mad Max was going to take it because I thought Mad Max was going to take pretty much all the technical awards.
Yeah. No.
But Ex Machina was a delightful surprised because I felt like that one just didn't think it was going to actually win it because I didn't feel like they were going to pay any attention to that movie whatsoever.
No, but I can see why it won, just because the effects alone on that are just spellbinding. I mean, that's how you're supposed to use CGI to its best advantage.
It's really just like the integration of the visual effects with everything actually on set was top notch and fantastic. But yeah, that was a big surprise for me too, because I just reading online tons of Oscar predictions. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Mad Max is going to win," or Star Wars or Revenant. No one mentioned Ex Machina, and then it came up. It was like perfect, and I was happy with it. That's great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was kind of surprised with that. I mean, for me, it felt like a very wild card year for the Oscars. Like, I had no idea who was going to win. I mean, there are predictions for me, but I had no expectations. I guess the one thing that really shocked me was supporting actor as well as just the Best Picture winner. But let's start with supporting actor. I'm actually kind of happy that Mark Rylance won it for, Bridge of Spies. I thought his acting was one of the most superb, actually, of the ones that were nominated. But did that come out of left field for you guys as well?
Yeah, I bet on Stallone to win. So
yeah, I think pretty much everybody did.
Rylance won. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was honestly not terribly surprised. That was my pick for the winner, as in my pick for the one I thought was going to win. Not having seen Creed, although I hear it's great, I'm just thinking of how the Academy votes and trying to get in their heads, and I was thinking, well, it's Sylvester Stallone just playing Rocky again.
Yeah,
he might have done a fantastic job, and I'm sure he did.
Right.
But if you're thinking about how they're voting, they're not going to be thinking about that. They're going to be looking at the guy playing this Russian guy. Mark Rylance really was, I think, one of the standout performances of that movie. And if you ask me, the upset would have been something like Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight.
Oh yeah.
Or even Tom Hardy in The Revenant. I would have chosen either one of those over Stallone as far as who I thought would have won.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I was happy about it. I thought, oh, okay, well, that's good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is I think the reason why people had their money on Sylvester Stallone is just because he's a veteran actor. He's reprising a role that, has made him an iconic figure in Hollywood. And I guess that was the big reason why I think a lot of people were expecting Stallone to get it. But if that's like the reason he was going to get the award, I don't feel like that's a good enough reason. Because I saw Creed, and you're right. He is just reprising as Rocky Balboa. He's doing nothing new or different. Whereas Mark Rylance, he did become that character. And I think that's what you need to recognize more. And I'm glad the Academy recognized that.
Yeah. I think a really big surprise for me also was that they split Best Director and Best Picture, which isn't the first time we've seen this happen.
Yeah.
But it's happened so rarely that my pick for Best Picture, I thought Spotlight was going to win, but because of that, I also picked Spotlight as directing. And I actually had a friend, I was talking with him on Facebook before, and he had pegged Spotlight for Best Picture and The Revenant for Best Directing. And I just told him, yeah, you're crazy for doing that. They're not going to split the two up. And what do you know? They did.
Yep. He was more right than all of us were. But yeah, but Joe, I wanted to actually talk to you about that with Spotlight winning Best Picture. For me, that was a shocker. My reaction was just as much dumbfounded as Morgan Freeman was when he announced, and the winner is, he's just pause, there's Spotlight. For me, I was not expecting that. And I don't know. I mean, you and I both saw Spotlight. Did you think it deserved Best Picture?
No, but I thought it was going to win. Okay, here's the thing. I've had Spotlight pegged for the winner for a while, and I've been more or less resolute on that. And then more recently, within the past week, everyone was saying, The Revenant's going to win, and the upset's going to be The Big Short. Now, I haven't seen The Revenant or The Big Short. Those are two of the three Oscar Best Picture nominees I haven't seen yet. But just like knowing what kind of films those were, I thought, well, Spotlight is this, a bunch of old white guys standing in a room talking about something controversial. So of course the Academy's going to love that.
Yeah.
I thought Spotlight was a fine movie. I would have personally chosen The Room and then Mad Max over that, but I wasn't upset that Spotlight won. This is one of the few years that I wasn't disappointed with any of the Best Picture nominees. They were all, I felt, fine, deserving movies, and if any of them won, I might not agree with it, but I wouldn't be mad about it. And that's how I felt about Spotlight.
Okay.
As a whole, so I wasn't necessarily surprised. I think I was getting surprised the more that the awards show went on and the Revenant started scooping up more awards. And at that point, I was thinking, oh man, I should have put my money on Revenant like everyone else did. So then at that point, it was a surprise to me. But before the show started, I was feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's just kind of like, it's just one of those choices, I guess, for Best Picture, which I don't know. It's kind of like, of all the movies that, you know, have had huge campaigns for the Oscars coming up, you know, The Revenant, Mad Max, and even The Martian, you know, I had a feeling that The Martian was not going to win, but all those movies I felt like, you know, were more outstanding pictures of the year than Spotlight. Spotlight's kind of like, it's one of those underdog movies that came at the last minute, and, you know, that it got momentum for its Oscar campaign. Although I see where they're coming from. It kind of goes back to, it harkens back to, you know, the movies like All the President's Men, you know, where you have the press and these journalists who are kind of going, you know, past their limits and, you know, doing something that is really going to expose the whole world and shock the world for this. And that's kind of, I guess, the whole, you know, sensation it's riding on. But for me,
it's a... No, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, like, my money was going to be on, like, The Revenant, just because I personally like the movie, or even Mad Max. I was surprised that Mad Max was picking up so many awards. And that would have been a fine win as well. But yeah, but go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, well, another thing I think Spotlight has going for it, as far as why the Academy would vote for it, is that it's a character piece, whereas The Revenant and Mad Max are more spectacle pieces. Now, again, I haven't seen The Revenant, and I've heard that Leo does a fantastic job in the movie, and I'm sure he does. Obviously, scooping up his Oscar there finally. But I mean, just hearing about The Revenant, it struck me more as a film you go to see for the visuals and the spectacle, and not one you don't go to see The Revenant to watch it for Leo's performance. You go to watch it for the cinematography, for the direction, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Spotlight, everything hinges upon the characters and the actors, which, historically speaking, the Academy seems to like better. For instance, when 12 Years a Slave came out, Gravity didn't win that year because 12 Years a Slave was there, and that's another big character piece versus a spectacle piece.
Yeah, 12 Years a Slave was a character piece, but it also was a film that did need to get recognized for something, you know, that talked about, you know, just that time period. And I think also for the same thing with Revenant, it is a time period that has not yet been recognized by the Oscars yet. And the way it was executed and done was perfectly, in my opinion. So, but like I said, I can see where you're coming from, Joe, with their reason for picking Spotlight. And I guess it's a good reason. For me, it was just one of those choices that I was like, wow, I would not have expected that.
Yeah.
Same here.
What do you think of all this, Alex, as far as the Best Picture, the win? Were you surprised by that?
I was very surprised by it. I mean, I had picked The Revenant to win. Everything I'd read had picked The Revenant to win. I didn't expect anything but The Revenant to win. I mean, if anything, it would maybe Mad Max. But yeah, I did not at all expect Spotlight to win. I haven't seen it, so I can't really say whether personally I think it deserved it or not. I'll go with, I'll trust what you're saying, Joe, that it's great. And I like from what you're saying, when you're talking about how you're describing it, I can see why the Academy picked it as a Best Picture over The Revenant, over Mad Max. Again, going back to what you're saying about both those movies kind of being sort of like spectacle films.
Yeah, and I really want to see The Revenant. Honestly, I haven't seen it yet, but it strikes me as one I'll probably end up enjoying seeing when I do see it. One big thing that surprised me when everyone was talking about, The Revenant's going to win, but the upset, everyone was pointing towards The Big Short as being the possible upset for The Revenant. I don't know where that came from. I haven't seen The Big Short, but that does not strike me as a possible Oscar winner. I would have chosen quite a few of these movies to have a better chance over that one.
Yeah.
I honestly, if I had to actually pick what one movie I would have prefer to have win, out of the movies I've seen, I've really only seen The Revenant and Mad Max. But I would have picked Mad Max. While I bet on The Revenant to win. I mean, I only kind of did so because we're betting on it. But I would have preferred to see Mad Max win. At least just out of those two. For me, there were parts of The Revenant that I didn't really like. Parts having to do with the editing, nothing with performances. They were all fantastic, of course. I really love the soundtrack as well. But for me, Mad Max felt like a more just entirely better film.
Yeah.
There was no part of it that I didn't like. No part of it that kind of took me out of the movie and kind of was a problem to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that's, I guess, the reason why I was kind of in the back of my mind really hoping Mad Max would go all the way and snag Best Picture, just because it's been a long time since we've seen like an action film that has this much hype and this much, production value. And also, it's going off of the Mad Max franchise, but I feel like it still stands out as its own thing. And I guess for me, I've never seen kind of like a film do something like that in a year for a long time. And I don't know. I guess my hope was, for it to win, but let's go into your guys' picks for the pool. So
like another thing also.
What's that?
Oh, we're running down what we picked?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Well, why don't we go ahead and figure out, Joe, I don't know if you have the results of...
I do have it open in front of me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So I picked, I think, what pretty much everyone expected to happen for the screenplays. Big Short and Spotlight to sweep those.
Yeah, we all got those.
I had more or less Mad Max for all the technical awards. So visual effects, sound mixing, sound editing, because the Academy doesn't know the difference. Production design, and makeup and hairstyling, and editing. I had put down Mad Max, with the exception of visual effects. Mad Max took all those away. No real surprise to me there.
Yeah, I was surprised. I put down Mad Max on all of those, except for sound mixing. I feel like The Revenant did a better job of sound mixing and creating much better like soundscapes and atmospheres with the very minimalistic tools and sound that they had at hand. I feel like that was a better pick for sound mixing over Fury Road. Fury Road obviously took sound editing. That's great. I think it deserved that. But now mixing, I would have given to The Revenant personally.
I agree.
Nice.
For me, I didn't really.
Short chose Stutter.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Say it again.
Oh, I was saying short film live action. I chose Stutter, knowing nothing about any of those short films. I just chose it based because a couple websites I followed said that was going to win. So.
Yeah, and I picked Shock. Nick and I both picked Shock, and I based my decision pretty much entirely the same way as Joe did. Just read a few articles and said people saying it looked evenly tied between Shock and Stutter, and I just went with Shock. Just goes.
Yeah.
No real reason.
So Nate, what's your take on the?
Sorry, Joe. Can you say that again?
What's your take on the technical award?
For me, I was kind of very split on my choices. Like I kind of did my own little thing. It wasn't part of your guys' pool, but I kind of had Mad Max kind of like up there for a lot of the technical awards, but I also put a little bit for, The Martian as well, just because.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For some reason, I kind of felt.
Which ones in particular?
I think maybe for sound mixing, I believe I was going to go for that until I saw The Revenant, and then I wanted to change my choice again. But funny thing actually about the animated and live action short films, I had picked Stutter as well. And I actually had seen the Oscar-nominated short films before the actual ceremony. And to be honest, of the live-action ones, Stutterer was probably one of the more uplifting ones. Everything else was just like really dramatic and depressing. Stutterer had an actual nice story to it. So, so it's good that the Oscars, gave to that.
Yeah, for short. short films, like animated, I figure, Alex.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go to. Yep. I was hoping Don Hertzfeldt would have won.
Same, actually.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that too. I love World of Tomorrow. It's a fantastic little movie. It's on Netflix, by the way, Alex. I don't know if you have access to Netflix, but it's on there right now too.
I do. Yeah, I'll watch it then. Yeah, It looked like the debate was between kind of a lot of people were saying Sanjay's Super Team was going to take it, partially because being Disney Pixar, it was going to win. I find it hard to argue with that just because of their track record. I still picked World of Tomorrow just because I was hoping the Academy would go for something a little bit something a little different. I mean, the short film is a little bit different than some of the others out there, so it's definitely kind of an off-kilter choice for them to pick it. But
well, if anything,
like Don Hertzfeldt.
Yeah, but if you even Don Hertzfeldt, he's definitely a pioneer in the animation category ever since he made the Rejected cartoons. In my personally, I felt World of Tomorrow was his most mature work. It's kind of hard to say that, but it's one he's actually, I think his style works for the story as well as the theme he's trying to tackle. And yeah, I was kind of hoping that they would have done the same thing, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, they say.
Yeah. The winner was actually a Bear Story. I don't know anything about that one, to be honest.
Don't know anything about it.
It was a typical story. It was creative in what it did, but to be honest, I think Don Hertzfeldt was he was snubbed.
How about with music? I chose Till It Happens to You. I think pretty much everyone chose that. I only chose it because websites I read told me to pick that one.
Yeah.
If I had beforehand, if I hadn't done any research, I would have chose Writings on the Wall just because I know it's a James Bond movie. People like James Bond soundtracks, right?
Yeah.
I guess I should have stuck to my research in that one.
No, I
didn't think this James Bond song was that great though.
No, my brother kind of said the same thing as well. Yeah, my brother also thinks it's not the best James Bond song as well. But I see the reason why they went with that. I don't want to really get into that too much, but I think it's quite obvious. I think why I felt it got what it did. But to be honest, either of them would have been an okay choice. I mean, there was not a song that really stood out for me this year, except for The Weeknd from 50 Shades of Grey.
How hilarious would it have been if 50 Shades of Grey won Best Original Song, and then you could say Oscar-winning film 50 Shades of Grey.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been a very interesting.
That would be awful.
It would have been.
How about Best Original Score? I was torn between John Williams and Ennio Morricone, but I pulled it in for Morricone, and I was happy he won.
I knew it was going to be Ennio Morricone from the very get-go.
I liked his acceptance speech.
He's so cute. He's so cute. He's a cute Italian.
Yeah, honestly, as far as soundtracks go, The Force Awakens it was a fine soundtrack, but even as Star Wars soundtracks go, it wasn't nearly the strongest Star Wars soundtrack. Whereas Morricone was kind of do what he does best, and he put a lot of passion into it. So,
well, to be honest, he's like a huge pioneer in music, and it's a style of music that I feel like it needed to be awarded for a film, and I'm just kind of glad that he was able to do it for a Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice, or was a little up on, not happy about, was that The Revenant actually got snubbed for best soundtrack, best score. I personally thought it was I thought it had a great score. Sakamoto and Noto, and then additional music by Bryce Dessner, he's actually Dessner's a part of the band The National. And they make some really great music, but he also has he's orchestrally trained. He writes and composes ballets and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool, but I really liked it.
Yeah,
it's very ambient and very minimalistic and very nice.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's definitely.
But I would have liked to see that at least nominated.
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies and just good actors as well that I think, if they'd been nominated, would have been fantastic. But that's I think that's the selection. But as far as the writing goes, what was your guys' choice?
Oh, screenplay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We all picked
Yeah, I said The Big Short and Spotlight.
Mm-hmm. I guess for me, I was hoping adapting screenplay would have gone to Drew Goddard for The Martian, just because it was a faithful adaptation from the book. And I kind of felt like, really? Okay. But I haven't seen The Big Short, so I can't compare it as far as writing goes, but, you know, that's their choice.
Yeah. I found it kind of funny. Straight Out.
But everyone
was nominated for best.
It tells me that it explains straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess for actors on the side of, like, I guess Mark Rylance, everyone was expecting you know, which actors to win. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone had picked Brie Larson and DiCaprio to win.
Yeah.
And then Alicia Vikander as well. The only upset among those was actor supporting role, Mark Rylance or Stallone. We already kind of talked about that, but yeah, I mean, the leading roles and then actors in supporting roles, those were kind of all shoo-ins, just based on a lot of what I read, and yeah, it seems like everyone was just going for that. As far as actors in the supporting role,
there for me.
I haven't seen Danish Girl, but I have seen Ex Machina, who Alicia Vikander is also in, and she was great. She was great in that, so I assume she's great in the Danish Girl as well. Out of the actress supporting role, the movies from that category, I have seen Steve Jobs, and I thought Kate Winslet was fantastic in that.
Yeah.
So even if Vikander didn't win, it would have been nice to see the award go to Winslet as well.
Yeah, both of them were good candidates, I felt. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, not having seen The Danish Girl or Steve Jobs, I can't comment on it, but Alicia Vikander's in The Danish Girl, it struck me as the sort of role that would probably get Oscar recognition. Just based on the controversy and the time period and the actress, is everything going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No real surprises for me there. Very much shoo-in.
Joe, you having seen Spotlight, how is Rachel McAdams in that?
Rachel McAdams is fine. Honestly, I don't know if I'd call it an Oscar worthy, but she was. I mean, she came in, she did her job there. Again, the Spotlight's a very character-driven movie, and there's so many characters. It's an ensemble piece, really. I wouldn't say that she was the one that stood out most. I thought Mark Ruffalo was one of the standout performances of that movie. But that might just be because he's doing something different than what we're used to seeing Mark Ruffalo doing. He's a much more impatient, almost youthful version of Mark Ruffalo, which was interesting to see. Rachel McAdams was, I mean, again, she was fine. She did a great job. I wouldn't say it's anything that stood out to me, though.
Okay. I guess one thing I was really happy about was Emmanuel Lubezki winning a third year in a row for The Revenant. And I know, I feel really bad that Roger Deakins still will never, ever... I know. He's been nominated for so many times. And...
He's been nominated 12 times.
12 times. I thought it was 16 times, but...
Maybe.
Either way...
Well, don't worry. He's making Blade Runner, so he'll have his chance. Then.
Yes, they'll give it to him for that, and he's going to make it look fantastic.
Just wait. Next week they're going to announce that Roger Deakins has been replaced by Lubezki, the runner.
Oh my!
That would be awful.
That would be awful. Although I am kind of intrigued if Lubezki's wide-angle lens was used in Blade Runner somehow. That'd be interesting. But I still think Deakins deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah. Animated feature film.
Maybe not. Maybe I said maybe not for this film, but Deakins deserves an Oscar at least for.
He does.
Oh yeah.
He's overdue for it.
He's very much overdue.
Yeah, based on the amount of work he's put in. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, you were just about to talk about animated feature.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, nothing really to talk about there. Inside Out was going to win. Inside Out did win.
That's it.
My money was on Anomalisa, to be honest.
Do you really think it had a chance over Inside Out, though? That movie's so... Like Inside Out was like the Frozen of this year.
It's Pixar. Come on.
I know, but it's Charlie Kaufman as well, with stop motion puppets having sex.
I mean,
but it's taking on Pixar in animation.
I know.
That's something you don't do.
Yeah, Pixar is winning and keeps competing.
Like I said, I saw Anomalisa. I was quite impressed. It's a very simple story, and it's not as complex as Inside Out was, but yeah, you know. All right. Well, cool. So based on those results,
one more thing about the animated feature. The other nomination that I was gonna, if Inside Out didn't win, I would have liked probably to see when Martin was there win. I think that one, if I recall correctly, that one is
it's a Studio Ghibli film, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Thank you. My little sister was all over that because she's a big fan of the studio, and so she was disappointed to hear Inside Out win. But if anything, I would have liked to see when Martin was there win if Inside Out didn't.
Yeah.
But that's that would never happen.
Nope.
Not ever.
One day, Studio Ghibli will make another film. I mean, obviously, they won't make something up to par as Spirited Away did, but you know, we'll see.
They'll just have to release it the year that Pixar takes a break.
It'd be actually very funny if like Only Yesterday gets nominated again and wins Best Animated Feature for this year. Like it beats Zootopia, it beats all the other Disney films and Pixar films that are coming out this year, and the film that came out like 20 years ago gets. I'm talking.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about in particular talking about Studio Ghibli films. They're not going to win as long as Miyazaki is still in retirement. I mean, the sad truth is that no matter how good the movies are, Miyazaki's name. He didn't direct when Marty was there, did he? I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. It's the other. I forget which director was, but I think it was the same one who did From Up on Poppy Hill. I think.
Yeah. But as long as Miyazaki's name isn't stamped in there as a director, no one's really going to be seriously looking at the Ghibli films while there's a Pixar film on the plate as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, Pixar will unless they take a dive off the deep end and start making bad movies, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But if it were to happen where a Studio Ghibli film was released the year that Pixar didn't release one of a new IP, then they would definitely have a chance.
Yeah.
Even if it's not Miyazaki's name attached to it, it's still the same studio that he has worked with and he has grown. Mm-hmm. So it's still coming from the same sort of like-minded individuals, directors, writers, and people doing that sort of stuff.
What I think needs to happen is definitely Studio Ghibli needs to stop doing all like these, childhood dramas that they've been doing in the past, and I feel like they need to do something like what Miyazaki did very well, was create fantasy stories and fairy tales. I mean, that's where I think that animation just shines the most, in my opinion.
Pixar's Anomalisa.
Oh goodness, I'm trying to imagine how that looks. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. All right, cool. Well, I think that wraps it up, guys. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just. I mean, honestly, just as a whole, I was fairly happy with this year's Oscars. There were one or two surprises, but there was nothing here that upset me really. Mm-hmm. There are some. I personally would have made some different choices. I like some films better than others. I felt some deserved certain categories more. But there were no picks. There were no winners where I said, come on, what the hell? How on earth could that film choose? Most of the films chosen, I felt, were fine films that deserved recognition. And while I didn't feel they were the best, I wasn't upset with any of the ones that were chosen.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I could agree with that, honestly. I mean, would have made a different choice for Best Picture, would have made a different choice for Best Sound Mixing, and animated short feature, or short film. But it's fine. It's not that big a deal. It's not that huge of an upset for me, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, everything nominated, all the actors nominated and the films nominated, I felt like were solid choices that deserve to be recognized, and I mean, even though I might have replaced one or two here or there, I was happy all around with the films and the people that were recognized, and I'm glad they got their little applause.
Yeah, and I guess I'll comment on that. It was, you know, definitely, I guess the films that needed to win awards in certain areas did get them. Like I said, there were a couple of surprises that came out of left field that I was not expecting. Can't say if I can let Spotlight sink in as like the best picture winner, but again, that's, I think, Joe, you make a good argument. I don't know if I can actually still digest it though, but yeah, I think overall, I think it was, you know, it was a decent show. And I just personally, I just want, you know, some of the winners to stop using it as like a political platform to do stuff, because I think that's what
it's a movie show. Let it be a movie show.
Oh yeah. I just feel like that hurts the show more than doing any good. So just keep it entertaining, keep it short, and keep it gold. You know. All right.
Like the Oscars, huh?
Yeah, just like the Oscars, which should be. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us on this. Hope to see you guys around. Definitely we'll stay in touch. And everyone out there, if you guys can, please subscribe to Film Illiterates. Follow us on YouTube, as well as Facebook, and see what we're doing these days. This is Nathan Stone, signing out.